You say it again?
Well, first I should probably explain why it's
Well, I mean, can you
racism.
can you explain what you, I mean, can you just say what you said, that last sentence about the homeless and how they're being murdered?
That's a 2007. I should probably.
No, just tell me. You had it. You told me perfectly. Just say it again.
More homeless people every year are murdered at the hands of those who are housed than people who are killed because of the color of their skin, their gender expression, their ethnicity, combined. To remove a person's identity as a member of the human race is the most racist you can be. To look at a human being and say, let's treat that human being as though he's an animal. You couldn't be more racist. Now you've removed his identity as a member of the human race. He's not even a human to you anymore.
Yes.
How could you be more racist? And now what I'm proposing is, because we do that without a conscience, because we project into a man that he's an animal and treat him as such, it's really reflective of the social mind has been dehumanized. And it's projecting onto the innocent victim, because the Human Rights Declaration, the United Nations Declaration for Human Rights, says food, shelter, and clothing are human rights. And it makes sense, because your rights are your human needs. You need those to survive as a human. And so those are your rights when you're born as a human. Now what society does is say, there's a criteria above and beyond being human to be met that you might have your human rights. Meaning it's not enough that you're a human being to get your human rights. You have to fulfill a criteria or an obstacle higher than that. What that does is it takes away your human right from you. It says you don't have human worth, but human worth is in a dead object called a dollar.
Oh, yeah.
And if you have enough of dead objects that contain human worth, then we'll then acknowledge your humanity. What's sad is that our whole race has given up the idea that they're worthy of being acknowledged in their humanity on the only planet in the cosmos made to express human life. And they've turned their human rights into a commodity which they must purchase food, shelter, and clothing, because they've decided they're not worthy of being acknowledged by their own equal fellow man as human. And so the first form of racism is to create a man and treat him as though he's an animal. And because we do that, now we can hate a man because he's black, because he's Jewish, because he acts like a girl, because. But the reality is we hate ourselves first, and then we project it into the innocent homeless man over there. So I can feel better about myself in my inferiority complex by looking down my nose at somebody who's lesser than me. But while society is focused looking down their nose at the lower person, what they're refusing to look at is that if they believe they're better than the homeless man, then they believe a lot of people are much better than them. And so what they've created is a pecking order, and they fall somewhere on the pecking order. But a man who's not a beast doesn't believe that there's a pecking order. He knows of his human equality. The physical proof that we're all equal as humans is that you need food, shelter, and clothing just like I do. Whether you call yourself the Queen of England, the Prime Minister, the garbage picker-upper, whatever you are, your requirements are exactly the same physically. That shows and is proof that we're all equal in our humanity.